Well, good morning, everybody. It is a lovely Thursday morning. We have beautiful weather outside today here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and just enjoying all the sunshine coming in. It's a really lovely treat to have in the first few days of April. I'm going to do a how-to video on how to do a hat, or as Canadians call it, a toque. I'm going to be using two different colors of thread yarn, and I'm going to do it on the 48 pin loom knit knitting machine. It's got a counter, it's quite nice. So this will be a large size hat. It's good for women, men. Great. It's a looser fitting hat. I'm going to do a double-sided hat. So I'll have some different colors in there, and I'll show you how to switch those out, and I'll show you how to cast on to begin with. It's a simple process, casting on. I will be doing that shortly here. I am just in the middle of feeding some very voracious cats. It is their lunchtime. So as soon as I get to that finished, I will bring you over to my knitting machine and I'll set up and show you how that's done. I am at my table on my chair. I'm going to show you the knitting machine that I'm going to use and the different colors of wool that we're going to use today. And then I'll show you how that's done, how we set up a cast on, and then we begin to just do a knit in a circle, or as it shows on the machine, let me switch this around, a tube. You've got tube and panel. You can switch these back up and down. This one, to go continually around and around in circles, you need to select the tube setting as well. We've got a counter, so every time it goes around, it will switch to one round. So that's kind of nice little added extra feature to have, and this is mostly on the 48 one. There's your where you turn it, and then again here are all your pins. As you can see, it goes all the way around. So this is where we will start. This is your tension setting here. You've got your tight, medium, and then your loose. I always like to use the medium. Gives it a nice, real nice knit and a real nice tension. So that's what we'll be using for this. All right, so we're going to need a couple things. First and foremost, your tools are always very important. So you've got your machine, you've got your wool, and you're going to need some scissors. Let me switch this around. So I've got some heavy duty scissors right there. And over here in my little container of goodies, I have needles, crochet hooks, measuring tapes, and these little clips, which are pretty important. You can clip the loose threads on the inside, and that way it holds it down so it doesn't interfere. And we are set to go. And I've always got a screwdriver handy, so, and some needles just in case. All right, so I'm going to set this up so you can see as I'm putting on the thread. Allow me to get that settled. So I've got my loom set up here. Hopefully you can see that. I know it's not a great setting here, but we've got the two rolls of the lovely rose colored here, and then we have this roll here, and as you can see, it's a smaller yarn. These machines are very particular when it comes to the yarn, so again, the thread is very important. It's the weight, the gouge and the weight. This is a Fiesta 141 gauge 5 ounce, okay, and it's 5 millimeters or 8, I guess, for crocheting. I don't crochet that much. It's very difficult to learn how to do, but I might give that a shot again. So we're going to unravel, if you can, from the inside. Find your thread on the inside of these balls of yarn, okay? And unravel quite a bit, because we're going to need to have enough to set up here. As I'm pulling it out, it gets a little looser, okay? I'll just put that down. Now what we have to do, taking your yarn, make sure you find the end. Nothing's tangled up, which I am great for doing. Okay, So you're going to take this and clip it onto the end here, just anywhere. Leave, you know, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches, something like that. Okay, put it on the inside. Okay, so now that that's on the inside, what you want to do is you want to find, as I'm going, there is a white starting. Here it is. You see this white peg? Can you see that peg there? Let me pull this up. There's the peg. Okay, so that's going to go just a little past where the thread goes through. Now, I don't put my thread through this anymore because I found that it skipped too much. So I put it around, like around the side here. It's actually on the other side. And then I put it on the tension, but I always watch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this thread on the second one here. We're going to put it around it. And we're going to turn. The next one that comes up, you're going to go on the outside. So you're going to go on the outside, not the inside. The third one on the inside, out, in, out, in, out, in. Let me put this on the other side so you can. So this is kind of what it looks like, as you can see, on the outside, and then it goes on the inside. Let me try to show you. I'll hold my camera with one hand so you can get an idea of how this works without, got to get a better system set up for the camera. Okay, so right now we're going on the inside, right there. So it's going to go on the inside and then on the outside. Let's get that in focus. So it's on the inside. See on the inside there? And then on the outside, around. You're going to go around. See that? There. Can you see that? That's kind of what you do. Switching back and forth until you get to the white. I'm going to finish this off. There. See how that's on the inside? On the outside. Let's finish this off. So I'm on the outside, in, out. Take your time doing this. In, on the outside of the peg, on the inside, on the outside, and just keep doing this. Don't go fast. Okay. And just keep an eye on it. You have to watch what you're doing here, or else you will end up with a mistake. Let me finish this off. Just about back to our beginner peg. And then I will show you the round. And it's just simply, all right, so we're back to the first peg. Do you see that? Back to the first peg. So now what we're going to do, and I like to hold the thread and just do my first round all on the inside. You see how it's catching that? Now I'm just holding it because I want to make sure every one of these is going to catch, just like that. And take your time doing this. Okay. Let's move that out a little bit. There. Okay. Don't worry about the noise. That's just the clip banging on my table. Okay. And go around, making sure. Now we're back to the white peg. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me grab the phone. I've clipped it on to, that middle tension there. Okay, you can see it's all on there. All on. So now all we got to do is the same thing. Just watch your thread. As you're doing this, you want to make sure it's catching every time. If you miss a peg, that's going to cause some issues, and you'll have a hole. And then you'll have to get a crochet hook, and then you'll have to fix it again. So I'm going to do a couple rounds, just like I showed you. I'm going to do, let's do, well, usually for a toque, you need about 120 rounds. So if I'm using two different threads, I'll mix it up a little bit. I can make one a little longer, one a little less, and then one a little longer and one a little less. So you have two rows of each. So I'm going to do, I'll do 40 rows. We're on 3 already, okay? I'm going to do 40 rows and then I'll add on the other yarn and I'll show you how to do that, okay? So I'm going to put this back. You can watch as I'm doing this, and then I'll just pause the camera. You don't need to see all of it. Okay, here we go. So I've got my thread, I've got the yarn ready to go, making sure nothing's tangled. And there's enough. Every time I'm always pulling a little bit of yarn. Tension on this machine this will go up. So that's the tension one. So you always got to watch that too. You got to be very careful and don't go fast. I'll show you the speed I like to go. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to start turning. Now I just skipped there. Do you see? It skipped. So it skipped on the first one. So you have to, I'm going to hold it again. It skipped again. So I've got to make sure it's catching on that one. I'll put it in here, see if that doesn't anything. It's skipping. Sometimes slow, slow, slow is the way to go. Let's try this again. There, it's caught. Really watch. Take your time. Okay. Now it's starting to work. Just going to move this clip up a little bit. Move it up closer. It might make a few banging noises, but that's okay. Let's try this again. As you can see now, it is catching. And I'm not going too fast for the first couple rows. I have had to unthread my projects back to this one again, and now it's switched to row 4, and you just keep doing this. I've had to unthread my project several times because I went too fast and I missed a hook, and so I had to start all over. And it actually looks, if you can see, like I've missed one over here. So I might have to start this over and then continue where we left off. So if you can see right here, see, that's a skipped hook. But you see how everything else, see there's a skipped hook there too. So as you can see, I have to start over. That's okay though. I'll start over, I'll get back to where I was, I'll continue up to the row 40, and then I will show you the next step. So I am back. So I have tried 5 times with that wool, and it keeps catching and slipping, skipping. So I'm switching up my wool. I'm going to still use the pink, and I'm going to use a blue. See if this works a little better. I had great success with this brand. So I'm going to cast on the pink, and then I'll get back to you to tell you if that works. Wish me luck. So I am back, and we have 26 rows done. I'm going to do another 4 rows. I'm going to watch. I'll just put this up so you can see. This pink turned out quite nice. It wasn't skipping. Well, it skipped the first time, and I had to redo it. So let's try to focus on that. Okay, and I'm going to keep that there, and I'm just going to watch as it goes around to see how it's catching the thread there. This is how it should be going ultimately. There's the white one, that's row 28. When we do row 30, I'm going to switch off the color. And that's a simple procedure. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can tie it on to the pink, or you can just add it in and then tie it off after on the inside, because you won't see the threads. All right, we're getting to, here's the final row. Okay, as you can see, I need to add more pink. So you can see I've just tied on another roll of pink. Okay, and I'm going to clip those ends And then we're going to add the blue. It's the same process. I'm just going to add it on to the end, trim it down not too far, and then continue with the knitting machine here. So I've trimmed it off. As you can see, I haven't trimmed all of it. I want to keep a little out because you won't see that when I turn it inside out. So this you have to be very careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it as I'm doing this to make sure it's going to go under. So I'm just going to put the phone down for a moment and then I'll show you. So if you can see there, I'll try to focus in. There's the knot right there. Okay? So I held it and made sure it hooked on. Now I'm going to continue one more row until I get the white. All right, we're back at the white. I haven't knitted it yet, but as you can see, you can't really tell where that knot is. So that's a good thing. Doesn't take away from your knitting and the aesthetics of it. So far it's looking quite nice. So what I'm going to do is add on the blue. Same way I did that. I'm going to tie it on, then trim it down, and then do very slowly, making sure it's hooking under this here and all the way through. And then I'll continue for another 30 on the blue, and then I'll swap it off with the pink again. All right, so I've added the blue on as close as I can to that white. Do you see that? I will trim those ends down. And then I will continue. You see this here? Okay, so you won't see that. It's pretty close to the end of that row, so there won't be any really leftover blue where it doesn't look uneven. It might look a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. So let me trim these down. I'll trim them down to about where it was before. Probably about down to there. And then we'll continue on for another 30 rows of knitting with the blue. And as you can see, the counter on 31 because it's just gone past that white peg. So that's wonderful to have this counter on this machine. Otherwise you'd have to count every time, or you'd have to end up counting the stitches, each one of these. That takes a little time. I am back to the white peg, and as you can see that blue stitch is now incorporated. Try to do a close-up. Do you see that? That's how it should be looking, and I've got it on my medium tension. So let's see if I can just show you this. I'll hold the camera very carefully as I'm watching. I'm going to go a little slow here because this is the second round and I don't want to have anything skipping. So if you can see that, let me focus out. There, see if I can focus on that for you. I'll go slow. I'm turning the handle. See how it's pulling it down? So far no lost stitches. Very good. And back again. Yeah, that clicking was the counter changing again. Do you see how it looks here? That's where it catches in the needles. So we're going to go another 28 rows and then we'll switch it off with the pink again. See you soon. So I'm continuing with my knitting here. I had to start over twice again because of skipping. So I've really slowed it down and I'm really watching every peg as it goes. So I'm on row 5 and now I'm going really slow. As you can see, this is how slow I've had to slow it down. Let me try to focus on that. Because I'm having issues today with skipping and not catching the thread. Now this is the thread that came with the machine. So it was guaranteed to not have issues. But as you can see how slow I am going right now because I don't want to miss a peg or have it slip or completely not catch the thread. So I've really had to slow it down here. My frustration level has gone kind of skyrocketing. And this is my 12th attempt. So for those of you that are starting on this, don't give up. Take a break. slow down, take a coffee, go for a walk around the house, just step away, and then come back to it. And hopefully you won't have any issues. You'll be able to sit down and continue where you left off. As you can see, I am not going very fast. I don't want to miss anything, because if I miss a skip or a loop, I have to start over again. I'm not good at crochet, so that means that any mending I would have to really take time to do it, and I want this project to be very nice without any issues or any mistakes, especially if you're considering wanting to sell your products. That'd be the next step in this process, is selling it. That ping you just heard was the tension going off. Now I haven't skipped, but I'm going to put the tension back on and just check my thread here. Lots of thread. Okay, everything looks good. I can continue on, and hopefully this will work. I will show you. Right now I'm at number 9, so so far so good. Let's see how far I go. So I'm just updating you on my adventures from yesterday. It's the next day now. It's Friday, and I went back. I had to stop the project I was doing. It just kept missing loops. I don't know if it was the yarn or the tension. I had to take a break. It was a bit frustrating because after 16 attempts, and not being able to do it without missing a loop, gets a little frustrating. So anyhow, I went back to it today. I started with a completely different yarn. I figured I would try something different, so I tried a different yarn, and it's a soft baby yarn. I'll grab, this is the yarn I used here. It's Patton's Beehive Baby Sport, okay? And this is a light teal green. It's a 70% acrylic, 30% nylon. And it comes with washing instructions on the inside and everything. It's a light 3 and approximately 359 yards. So that was the main ball. Now this is what I ended up with, 1 ball left of that one here. So it's not too bad. I did 124 rows. And the final project, I did have to redo it twice because it did miss a loop twice. There have to really watch, but I did end up, I'm just bringing this over here. I will bring this back out into the light so you can actually see the project here. I will turn it around so you can get an idea of what I did. And let me switch this around. So this is the toque I made. It is a beautiful, soft, reversible toque. I've also ordered some tags to be added on, just to make it look a little more professional. And yeah, this is actually going to somebody who requested it. I really like how it turned out. It's always a work in progress, always trying to improve what you're doing, and always trying to get it right. It takes time. I did realize with sentro machine here, you have to go pretty slow. You have to watch. And what I found that seems to work now is when I'm threading and it's looping here, let me turn this around. I didn't use the tension bar this time. What I did is I held the thread in my fingers and let it go through my fingers while I was watching to see, make sure it's coming through underneath there, right there. And I had to be very careful. I didn't go very fast. It took a little while, but it would have taken a lot longer had I been just doing a loom with my hands. Would have taken quite longer. This didn't take as long as I thought it would, with twice having to redo it, but that's better than yesterday with the 16 times that I had issues. So yeah, it's not a perfect fix, but it does work and it does make it simpler. And I still do recommend the loom machines here. Everyone is saying the Addy is the best, but of course that is the most expensive one. You're paying $300-400, I believe, for something like that. So these ones are basically a lot cheaper, and they do the job. You just have to be a little more careful. You have to watch what you're doing, and you have to have patience with it, which I did today. I said I'm going to have patience. I'm going to do it. If it misses a loop, I will figure that out. And I did. So I ended up with a very nice project completion. I'm going to do a few more toques. I actually I have put an ad up on the marketplace for Facebook, so you can always check out the ads, and I'm selling the toques there, and these toques go for $25. Smaller ones and even toddler or younger size will be a little cheaper than $25. So scarves, again, I have to figure that out. If you like this video, just, like or join my page. If it's my YouTube, join that, and, give me a comment. If you want to subscribe, please do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to try another project later on, and I will show you how that process goes. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care. Blessings to you, and have a wonderful upcoming weekend.